Have you been doing all the right things, all the content marketing activities that you're supposed to be doing, yet you're not getting the results that you want? Well, let's go over a potential reason why and how to address it. Hello, my name is Michael Bosey. Welcome to my podcast, and I want to get right into that question. Why am I not getting the results that I want from my content marketing program? This right here is where a lot of engagements start for me as a practitioner, where people say, hey, listen, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing, right? I got a website, I'm blogging, or I got a podcast, doing all the social media stuff. I got an email list of X number of people. Why can't I seem to unlock the growth that I see other people having? Now, look, there's no shame in this. This is very common for small business owners like you and me, right? And I've been thinking a lot about this over the past few months, and I realized that there is a potential issue here that maybe is flying under the radar or undetected in a way. Here's my thought on this, right? Content marketing is now considered to be mainstream, right? Which means two things. One, everyone's doing it. And two, and the more important one, is that the basics won't cut it anymore. So to me, the only solution to this is to up your game over the coming year, over the coming years. I want to help you with that. Over the next set of episodes, I'm going to get into some next level strategies for you to think about applying. Now, none of this stuff is one size fits all. Of course, you're going to have to find out what works for you. But even if you're able to upgrade one area of your marketing program over the coming months, you may be able to make a positive impact on the activities and the results that you're getting. First thing, let's look at the suite of assets and activities in your platform. Assess them honestly, as objectively as you can. And know this is difficult, but you got to ask yourself, right? What in particular is working and what is not working? We know we have a website, blog, social media, email, maybe even you have an online store. And of course, when I say blog, that includes video content, podcasts, or whatever. I use that as sort of a catch-all. Now, you can't consider each of these things separately, right? They all work together as a whole, but set that aside for just, for the purposes of this exercise and this series that I'd like to go through. If we were to look at each of these, right? Website. Or are you getting enough traffic? Or more importantly, and way more importantly, what happens to that traffic once it gets to your site? For your blog, what happens after they read your post? It's great to get people there, but is there an obvious next step in the pathway? Social media, looking objectively, again, objectively, as much as you can be objective, are you just posting and not doing much listening, asking, or interacting? And what about email? Are you just sending a newsletter every month, right? Focused on what you're doing, not trying to solve a problem for your customers. And for your online store, do you have a passive store site set up? Is there a way that you could make this a little bit more active and do some of the work for you? Look, all these things form a flow and a pathway that leads someone from just getting to know you all the way down to actually having enough trust to make a purchase from you. And you have to design that pathway. And that's what I want to focus on over the coming months, over a set of episodes that are going to get into these sort of 201 strategies. Sort of think of it as content marketing 201, as opposed to a lot of the 101 content that you see out there. Now, what I'm going to try to do with this is to keep these episodes super tight, right? Give you something to consider rather than getting into all the nuances, right? I don't have all the answers for you. You shouldn't be looking to me for the answers. You should look to me for how can I ask the right questions, right? And if you're asking the right questions in assessing your own work and your own business, it hopefully will lead you to better decisions, right? But I do want to also offer you some sample strategies some things that I use or I use with clients, just to get you thinking, give you some examples, and maybe you can map that onto your own business. All right. Again, going to try to keep them focused, but here's the thing about a more advanced program. These things are all extremely integrated with one another, right? I'm going to try to account for this as I go, but just keep in mind that by changing one strategy or one facet of a strategy, it may have a big effect on another facet of your overall strategy. That's natural, that's to be expected, but you have to account for that as you go through. And look, that's what happens, right? The best strategies are going to do that. They're going to affect everything in the whole flow, especially given that this is a customer flow from introduction to purchase. So, all right, I said I was going to try to keep these tight, and I should start that right from the introduction. Next in the series, I want to get into your website. Talk about going beyond thinking of just traffic, thinking of how you can optimize your site, thinking of how you can construct this pathway to purchase so that you go beyond this sort of passive approach and make your site active, make it actually carry some of the sales load. Okay, subscribe so that I can tell you when new episodes are published. Look forward to getting into this and leveling up over the next few months, and I hope that you'll join me on this journey. We'll see where it takes us. All right, thank you very much, as always, for listening. I really appreciate you.